And speaking of Nome, the DHS head calling out local leaders in Portland as anti-ICE protesters wreak havoc on the city.
This mayor is going to wait until somebody gets violently hurt or killed. He's going to have blood on his hands because he sat around and thought too long because he's too scared of the political ramifications of making a big decision to keep his city safe. That's my concern, is that you've got so many people here in Portland playing politics. They don't realize they're up against professional terrorists.
The department also revealing the illegal migrants with lengthy criminal histories that were arrested just last month in Portland alone. The list includes fentanyl traffickers and murder suspects. Joining me now is Chief Border Patrol Agent Gregory Bavino. Chief Bavino, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, from drug traffickers to sexual abusers, that list out of Portland says it all. You are in Chicago spearheading Operation Midway Blitz. Can you tell us about the people who are no longer walking around the streets of Chicago who otherwise would have been if not for this operation?
Well, good morning, Carly, and thanks for having me. When we talk about those bad people and bad things that are no longer walking the streets, we're approaching almost 1,500 apprehensions in a month. A majority of those 1,500 are some extremely bad individuals, whether it's child rapists, trained Aragua gang members, terrorists, honest-to-goodness terrorists on the terrorist screening database, and many others. Those folks oftentimes are walking with impunity on the streets of Chicago, and that's why we're here. That's why we have this federal response here, Carly, is to take care of that. When our local elected politicians won't do the job, we will.
Well, one of those bad actors is a member of the Latin Kings who was arrested this week and is being accused of putting a bounty on your head. Juan Espinoza Martinez, he allegedly wrote on Snapchat, $2,000 for your capture, $10,000 if you take him down. I mean, there is obviously a level of expected risk when it comes to having a job like yours, but this is something else entirely. What was your reaction when you found out about this hit?
Carly, I was amazed that he was an illegal alien gang member of the Latin Kings. So when illegal aliens come across the border in the numbers that we've seen over the past 4 years to the tune of millions, this is what you get. This is the type of activity that starts to crop up in our major cities. And again, that's why we're here, is to take care of this situation. And luckily, we have some fantastic prosecutors here in Chicago. Andrew Boutros, the U.S. Attorney, Northern District of Illinois, is really taking it to these illegal alien gang members and other criminals that threaten law enforcement and American citizens.
Well, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has been saying a whole lot and calling out you specifically. He says that you are spearheading an illegal attempt to cause violence and chaos in Chicago. Listen to this from Monday. Watch.
I want to thank Attorney General Kwame Raoul and his staff, along with my General Counsel Ann Spillane and our excellent Governor's Office legal team, for working tirelessly for weeks now to prepare federal lawsuits in anticipation of this unconstitutional invasion of Illinois by the federal government. I refuse to let Donald Trump, Kristi Noem, and Gregory Bavino continue on this march toward autocracy.
So, Chief, he is accusing you of being a part of an unconstitutional invasion. I don't know if he hears the words he's saying, but what is your response to the governor of Illinois?
Carly, you know, I doubt the governor could fill Custer in a pie factory if it came down to it. But what he is adept at is placing his citizens, his law enforcement officers, and his state in jeopardy at the hands of criminals. It's plain and simple. He doesn't care. He's not mentioned bounties on federal law enforcement. He's not mentioned those individuals that you talked about at the beginning of the segment that prey on American citizens that are walking the streets. He needs to get with the program because he's not doing it right now.
Well, Texas National Guard troops are in Chicago right now. Can you tell us how closely you will be working with them and what their actual job, what their directive will be?
Sure. We work very closely with Department of Defense and those National Guard troops. We're glad to have them here. President Trump and Secretary Noem are entirely correct in having those hundreds of Department of Defense members here in Chicago. Anything from facility protection, which frees Border Patrol agents up, ICE agents up to be out on the streets arresting criminals. And then they also act as a quick response force if we need them. And you've seen the violence in Chicago. It gets pretty hairy out there. We're glad to have those troops here supporting.
As we just played the clip from the governor of Illinois, we're hearing a lot from him and the mayor of Chicago. But can you tell us what the residents are saying to you about your mission?
That's perhaps the greatest untold story here in Chicago and other cities nationwide. Those inner city residents here in Chicago, the ones that are up against the Latin Kings, the Tren de Aragua, and those other violent gangs, those folks, probably 90 to 95% of the time, thank us, welcome us, and say it's about time. I enjoy talking to those folks there in Chicago, and definitely a story there. You would think that Mayor Johnson or the Governor Pritzker would understand that, but they're really missing a story there.
Chief, we thank you so much for joining us this morning. We know it's been a unique week for you as you work to keep America safe. Chief Avino, we thank you.